Take massive action and change everything starts the moment you decide to stop waiting. Waiting for confidence, waiting for the perfect time, waiting for someone to give you permission. Action is the switch that turns potential into power, fear into fuel, and dreams into real-world results. When you move boldly, even imperfectly, you send a clear signal to your mind and the universe that you are serious about your life. Massive action creates momentum, momentum creates belief, and belief rewires who you are becoming. The moment you act with intensity and commitment, everything around you begins to shift. Your mindset, your habits, your identity, and ultimately your destiny. Take massive action and change everything begins when you stop negotiating with your fears. It starts when excuses lose their power over your decisions. Every great transformation is born from an uncomfortable first move. Waiting feels safe, but it slowly steals your future. Action creates clarity that thinking never will. You don't need confidence before action because action creates confidence. The moment you move, your energy shifts. Your mind follows where your body leads. Small actions done with intensity become massive results. Your life responds to motion, not intention. Dreams stay dreams without decisive steps. Momentum is built by showing up again and again. Progress rewards the bold, not the perfect. When you act, you rewrite your identity. Everything changes when you refuse to stay still. Massive action demands that you raise your standards immediately. You stop asking what's easy and start asking what works. Discipline replaces motivation when emotions fade. Your habits become the evidence of your commitment. Each focused step compounds into unstoppable force. Comfort zones shrink when challenged daily. Action trains your brain to expect success. You become reliable to yourself first. Fear becomes a signal, not a stop sign. Growth begins where comfort ends. You stop reacting and start leading your life. Intensity compresses time and accelerates results. What you do daily shapes who you become. Action sharpens vision through experience. Your future rewards your courage today. When you take massive action, you stop waiting for approval. You realize permission was never required. Responsibility replaces blame in your mindset. Your energy rises with purposeful movement. You attract opportunities by being in motion. Problems shrink when faced head-on. Confidence is built through kept promises to yourself. Action silences self-doubt louder than words. Your focus shifts from fear to solutions. Learning accelerates when theory meets execution. You grow through doing, not overthinking. Mistakes become lessons, not labels. Speed creates feedback and feedback creates mastery. You gain respect by respecting your goals. Life opens doors to those who knock. Taking action rewires how you see yourself. You stop seeing limits and start seeing options. Your inner dialogue becomes stronger and clearer. Each win, no matter how small, builds belief. Belief fuels even bigger actions. You become addicted to progress. Your standards rise with every disciplined choice. You stop settling for average outcomes. Your time gains value through intention. Energy flows where focus goes. Action creates alignment between vision and reality. You begin to trust your ability to adapt. Challenges become training grounds for growth. Your resilience strengthens with every effort. You realize you are capable of more. Massive action means deciding fast and adjusting faster. Perfection is replaced by progress. Momentum beats hesitation every time. You stop over-planning and start executing. Clarity arrives after movement, not before. Your confidence grows through repetition. Action builds emotional strength. You train yourself to move despite fear. Consistency transforms effort into excellence. You learn to control what you can today. Focus narrows, distractions lose power. Your discipline becomes your advantage. Action creates a rhythm of success. You stop starting over and start building forward. Your life begins to reflect your effort. When you act boldly, your identity shifts. You no longer see yourself as a spectator. You become the driver of your outcomes. Ownership replaces excuses instantly. Your results become measurable and real. Action demands presence and awareness. You engage fully with your goals. Your mind sharpens under pressure. Pressure reveals your true potential. You rise to the level of your actions. Your standards dictate your direction. Action reinforces self-respect daily. You stop seeking motivation externally. Purpose fuels consistent movement. You become unstoppable through commitment. Massive action requires sacrificing comfort temporarily. Comfort traded today buys freedom tomorrow. Short-term discomfort builds long-term strength. You stop chasing easy wins. You commit to meaningful progress. Every step forward builds self-trust. You learn to manage energy wisely. Your focus becomes sharper with discipline. Action clears mental clutter. Decisions become simpler through action. You grow comfortable with uncertainty. Uncertainty becomes opportunity in motion. Your courage expands with each risk. You stop fearing failure. You fear stagnation instead. Taking action aligns your mind and body. Thoughts become tools, not barriers. Your emotions follow purposeful movement. You build confidence through action evidence. Results replace empty affirmations. You stop talking and start demonstrating. Your work speaks louder than intentions. Action creates respect internally and externally. You move with urgency and clarity. Time is honored through focused effort. Your priorities become visible in your schedule. Action trains discipline into habit. Habit builds identity over time. Identity shapes destiny inevitably. Everything begins with action. When you commit to massive action, consistency follows. Consistency transforms effort into excellence. You stop relying on moods. You rely on systems and routines. Action becomes automatic through repetition. Your environment supports your goals. Distractions lose influence. Focus becomes your default state. You develop emotional control. Action stabilizes mental strength. You move forward regardless of conditions. Progress becomes predictable. You trust the process fully. Results follow commitment. Your confidence compounds daily. Massive action builds momentum faster than doubt. Momentum carries you through resistance. Resistance weakens with repeated action. Your willpower strengthens through use. Action sharpens decision-making. You become quicker and more precise. Learning accelerates through experience. Experience builds wisdom. Wisdom guides better actions. You stop repeating the same mistakes. Growth becomes intentional. Action aligns effort with outcome. Your confidence stabilizes under pressure. You perform even when tired. Discipline becomes freedom. Action forces you to confront reality. Reality provides feedback instantly. Feedback guides adjustment. Adjustment leads to improvement. Improvement fuels confidence. Confidence encourages bolder action. The cycle accelerates continuously. You stop living in theory. You live in execution. Execution produces measurable growth. Growth reshapes your self-image. Self-image defines behavior. Behavior creates results. Results reinforce belief. Belief drives even bigger action. Taking massive action means choosing progress daily. You commit regardless of mood. You show up when it's hard. Hard days build strong character. Character sustains long-term success. You stop quitting when discomfort appears. You lean into resistance. Resistance becomes strength training. Your mind adapts to challenge. Action trains resilience deeply. Resilience fuels consistency. Consistency compounds success. Success raises standards. Standards drive excellence. Excellence becomes normal. Massive action eliminates regret. Regret thrives in hesitation. Movement replaces second-guessing. You stop replaying missed chances. You create new opportunities instead. Action keeps you present. Presence improves performance. Performance builds confidence. Confidence sharpens focus. Focus increases impact. Impact brings fulfillment. Fulfillment reinforces purpose. Purpose fuels persistence. Persistence creates mastery. Mastery changes everything. When you act, you reclaim control. Control strengthens self-respect. Self-respect raises expectations. Expectations guide behavior. Behavior produces outcomes. You stop blaming circumstances. You adapt and overcome. Action builds problem-solving skills. Solutions emerge through effort. Effort clarifies priorities. Priorities guide energy. Energy flows toward results. Results validate discipline. Discipline reinforces identity. Identity defines destiny. Massive action simplifies life. You stop overthinking decisions. You act, then adjust. Adjustment keeps you moving forward. Forward motion builds confidence. Confidence reduces fear. Fear loses authority. Action restores power. Power fuels responsibility. Responsibility creates freedom. Freedom rewards discipline. Discipline creates structure. Structure supports consistency. Consistency produces excellence. Excellence changes everything. Action trains your nervous system to stay calm. Calm improves decision-making. Better decisions create better outcomes. Outcomes reinforce belief. Belief fuels courage. Courage drives bold moves. Bold moves open doors. Doors appear through movement. Movement attracts opportunities. Opportunities reward readiness. Readiness is built through action. Action sharpens awareness. Awareness increases control. Control builds confidence. Confidence transforms identity. When you choose action, you choose growth. Growth requires discomfort. Discomfort builds strength. Strength builds resilience. Resilience sustains effort. Effort creates progress. Progress builds belief. Belief fuels momentum. Momentum accelerates results. Results raise standards. Standards shape behavior. Behavior defines habits. Habits create identity. Identity shapes destiny. Destiny changes through action. Massive action demands focus on what matters. You stop wasting energy on noise. Noise fades with clarity. Clarity emerges through effort. Effort sharpens purpose. Purpose guides decisions. Decisions align actions. Actions create results. Results reinforce direction. Direction simplifies choices. Choices strengthen discipline. Discipline builds consistency. Consistency compounds growth. Growth sustains success. Success becomes inevitable. Action replaces fear with feedback. Feedback guides improvement. Improvement builds mastery. Mastery strengthens confidence. Confidence fuels ambition. Ambition demands effort. Effort drives execution. Execution produces outcomes. Outcomes validate discipline. Discipline reinforces standards. Standards guide behavior. Behavior shapes habits. Habits form identity. Identity defines future. The future is built by action. Taking massive action is a daily decision. You choose effort over excuses. You choose discipline over delay. You choose courage over comfort. You choose growth over stagnation. Each choice strengthens character. Character sustains momentum. Momentum drives results. Results reinforce belief. Belief fuels persistence. Persistence overcomes resistance. Resistance builds strength. Strength increases confidence. Confidence empowers action. Action changes everything. Massive action is not about intensity alone. It is about consistency with purpose. Purpose directs energy effectively. Energy fuels focused effort. Effort compounds through repetition. Repetition builds mastery. Mastery creates confidence. Confidence strengthens identity. Identity shapes choices. Choices determine actions. Actions create outcomes. Outcomes define reality. Reality responds to effort. Effort sustains growth. Growth transforms life. When you act decisively, you lead yourself. Leadership begins with self-discipline. Discipline builds trust internally. Trust strengthens confidence. Confidence sharpens focus. Focus improves performance. Performance drives results. Results validate effort. Effort reinforces belief. Belief fuels ambition. Ambition inspires action. Action creates momentum. Momentum sustains progress. Progress reshapes identity. Identity changes everything. Massive action ends the cycle of delay. Delay feeds doubt. Doubt weakens confidence. Action restores certainty. Certainty strengthens resolve. Resolve fuels discipline. Discipline maintains momentum. Momentum accelerates growth. Growth builds belief. Belief sharpens vision. Vision directs effort. Effort creates progress. Progress builds confidence. Confidence fuels action. Action rewrites your life. Taking massive action is choosing now. Now is the only moment that exists. Action anchors you in the present. Presence improves awareness. Awareness sharpens decisions. Decisions guide behavior. Behavior produces outcomes. Outcomes reinforce belief. Belief fuels courage. Courage drives execution. Execution builds momentum. Momentum sustains growth. Growth elevates standards. Standards shape destiny. Everything changes when you act. Massive action turns pressure into progress. Pressure forces focus. Focus sharpens execution. Execution produces results. Results validate effort. Effort strengthens belief. Belief fuels courage. Courage invites bigger challenges. Challenges unlock hidden potential. Potential becomes power through action. Action builds momentum. Momentum silences doubt. Doubt fades with evidence. Evidence builds confidence. Confidence reshapes your life. When you move fast, you learn faster. Learning through action beats theory every time. Mistakes become data, not failure. Data guides smarter decisions. Decisions improve outcomes. Outcomes reinforce discipline. Discipline builds reliability. Reliability strengthens self-trust. Self-trust fuels consistency. Consistency compounds growth. Growth raises standards. Standards demand excellence. Excellence becomes identity. Identity drives destiny. Action leads the way. Massive action creates urgency. Urgency cuts distractions. Distractions lose power. Focus becomes natural. Natural focus improves performance. Performance builds confidence. Confidence drives ambition. Ambition demands execution. Execution creates traction. Traction builds momentum. Momentum accelerates success. Success reinforces belief. Belief sustains effort. Effort shapes habits. Habits define outcomes. Action converts ideas into reality. Ideas mean nothing without movement. Movement creates clarity. Clarity strengthens direction. Direction aligns effort. Effort produces progress. Progress builds momentum. Momentum fuels confidence. Confidence encourages boldness. Boldness expands limits. Limits dissolve with proof. Proof builds belief. Belief strengthens identity. Identity guides behavior. Behavior shapes your future. Massive action demands commitment. Commitment removes hesitation. Hesitation kills momentum. Momentum creates speed. Speed shortens the gap. The gap between now and success. Action closes that gap. Each step reinforces belief. Belief fuels consistency. Consistency strengthens discipline. Discipline builds mastery. Mastery earns confidence. Confidence drives leadership. Leadership begins within. Everything follows action. When you act, you stop drifting. Drifting leads to regret. Action creates direction. Direction brings purpose. Purpose fuels persistence. Persistence defeats resistance. Resistance builds strength. Strength creates resilience. Resilience sustains effort. Effort produces results. Results confirm capability. Capability strengthens confidence. Confidence invites opportunity. Opportunity rewards readiness. Readiness is built through action. Massive action forces honesty. Honesty reveals weaknesses. Weaknesses guide improvement. Improvement drives growth. Growth expands capacity. Capacity increases impact. Impact builds fulfillment. Fulfillment reinforces purpose. Purpose sharpens focus. Focus enhances execution. Execution produces momentum. Momentum sustains progress. Progress builds belief. Belief fuels courage. Courage changes outcomes. Action transforms chaos into clarity. Clarity simplifies decisions. Decisions guide action. Action builds momentum. Momentum reduces fear. Fear loses influence. Confidence rises through effort. Effort strengthens discipline. Discipline creates structure. Structure supports consistency. Consistency builds mastery. Mastery produces results. Results reinforce belief. Belief fuels ambition. Ambition drives action. Massive action ends self-sabotage. Self-sabotage thrives in delay. Delay feeds doubt. Action restores certainty. Certainty strengthens resolve. Resolve fuels discipline. Discipline builds momentum. Momentum drives progress. Progress reinforces confidence. Confidence sharpens focus. Focus improves execution. Execution creates results. Results validate effort. Effort builds belief. Belief empowers action. When you choose action, you choose ownership. Ownership eliminates excuses. Excuses fade with responsibility. Responsibility strengthens character. Character sustains success. Success rewards discipline. Discipline creates freedom. Freedom expands vision. Vision directs effort. Effort builds momentum. Momentum accelerates growth. Growth raises standards. Standards demand excellence. Excellence defines identity. Identity shapes destiny. Massive action builds inner authority. Authority comes from kept promises. Promises kept build trust. Trust strengthens confidence. Confidence encourages leadership. Leadership begins with self-control. Self-control sharpens focus. Focus improves execution. Execution produces results. Results reinforce belief. Belief fuels consistency. Consistency builds mastery. Mastery earns respect. Respect strengthens identity. Identity drives outcomes. Action keeps you ahead of fear. Fear grows in stillness. Movement starves fear. Confidence feeds on effort. Effort builds momentum. Momentum sustains courage. Courage invites growth. Growth expands capacity. Capacity increases impact. Impact creates fulfillment. Fulfillment reinforces purpose. Purpose fuels persistence. Persistence ensures progress. Progress shapes success. Success begins with action. Massive action aligns effort with intention. Intention without action fades. Action brings intention to life. Life responds to movement. Movement creates opportunity. Opportunity rewards preparation. Preparation is built through action. Action sharpens awareness. Awareness improves decisions. Decisions strengthen results. Results reinforce belief. Belief fuels ambition. Ambition demands execution. Execution creates momentum. Momentum changes everything. When you act consistently, results follow. Results confirm direction. Direction strengthens focus. Focus improves discipline. Discipline sustains effort. Effort compounds daily. Daily action builds mastery. Mastery creates confidence. Confidence fuels leadership. Leadership inspires growth. Growth expands potential. Potential turns into power. Power creates impact. Impact shapes legacy. Legacy is built by action. Massive action removes uncertainty. Uncertainty fades with movement. Movement brings feedback. Feedback guides correction. Correction improves execution. Execution produces results. Results reinforce belief. Belief strengthens confidence. Confidence fuels courage. Courage invites opportunity. Opportunity rewards readiness. Readiness is built daily. Daily action compounds growth. Growth sustains success. Success follows action. Action transforms intention into discipline. Discipline turns effort into habit. Habits define behavior. Behavior produces outcomes. Outcomes reinforce belief. Belief fuels motivation. Motivation supports action. Action builds momentum. Momentum accelerates progress. Progress strengthens confidence. Confidence sharpens focus. Focus improves performance. Performance delivers results. Results build identity. Identity shapes life. Massive action keeps momentum alive. Momentum weakens doubt. Doubt fades with evidence. Evidence builds confidence. Confidence fuels consistency. Consistency builds discipline. Discipline strengthens character. Character sustains effort. Effort drives progress. Progress compounds success. Success raises standards. Standards demand growth. Growth expands potential. Potential becomes achievement. Achievement starts with action. When you act boldly, you grow rapidly. Rapid growth demands discipline. Discipline sharpens focus. Focus improves execution. Execution builds momentum. Momentum sustains courage. Courage invites challenge. Challenge builds strength. Strength fuels confidence. Confidence supports leadership. Leadership shapes direction. Direction aligns effort. Effort creates progress. Progress builds belief. Belief changes everything. Massive action defines winners. Winners move despite fear. Fear loses control through action. Action builds confidence. Confidence fuels discipline. Discipline sustains momentum. Momentum drives progress. Progress builds mastery. Mastery strengthens identity. Identity shapes behavior. Behavior determines outcomes. Outcomes validate effort. Effort reinforces belief. Belief fuels ambition. Ambition demands action. Taking action is choosing power. Power comes from responsibility. Responsibility strengthens character. Character sustains effort. Effort builds momentum. Momentum accelerates growth. Growth raises standards. Standards demand excellence. Excellence builds confidence. Confidence fuels leadership. Leadership shapes direction. Direction guides action. Action produces results. Results build belief. Belief transforms life. Massive action is the ultimate decision. It ends excuses. It silences doubt. It creates clarity. It builds momentum. It strengthens confidence. It sharpens focus. It fuels discipline. It compounds growth. It raises standards. It defines identity. It shapes destiny. It turns dreams into reality. It replaces fear with progress. It changes everything. The moment you take massive action, hesitation ends, fear disappears, and your life begins to transform, because everything changes when you refuse to wait any longer.